Coach. 3-0. Finished the sweep this weekend. It was eventful, but came out with 3 wins. What's your takeaway from the series?
Well, I think we did a lot of things really, really well from a team aspect. We got some stuff that we have to clean up, and that's why you play. That's why we're playing. So opening weekend, I thought everybody did a pretty good job. The pitching this weekend wasn't what we expected, and that's I'll take 100% blame on that deal. We're a good pitching staff, and we'll show that. And we had a lot of guys. Mosiello again, another guy that hasn't pitched since 2022. So we're gonna get the people in the right roles, and I still 100% bet on our pitching staff. And once that happens, I think it's you got a pretty good combination. And we'll clean up. I think we made 4 errors today, so there was some sloppiness on the weekend, but the resiliency and the offense was the calling card on the weekend. On an offensive weekend, weather-wise, Coach Bruce and Coach Delara had them ready to go, and very easily, could have been a little bit different feeling today if it wasn't for how they performed in the box. So really happy on that end, and we'll get the pitching figured out.
Brody Green came in the 5th inning, seemed to stabilize things at third base. What did you think about him today?
Well, baseball's a funny game because as soon as you put a guy in there, then he gets tested with back-to-back ground balls, and I think he had 3 ground ball outs, which was probably more than the whole weekend combined. There was a lot of fly-outs, and so there wasn't a ton of ground ball outs. So he was prepared. Like we said, he had a great fall, and it's all about opportunity, and he's going to continue to get those. But that was a definite, stabling, defensively. And then the big thing is he came in his first at bat and goes, "Oh, how you doing?" and drops a drag bunt down to start the inning, and then does a really good job in the ball in the dirt read to score that inning. So you can't say enough in terms of, he didn't start the first 3 games, and then comes in mid-game and is a difference maker for us offensively, defensively. So it just tells you a little bit about the character of Brody.
Feels like y'all played offensively a complete game, played some small ball, stole some bases, and showed the power. How do y'all feel about offensively?
The fun thing for a hitting coach is when you do push buttons, like when Luke puts down a great drag bunt. When the game comes calling and there's opportunities and the situation calls for it, he was there and got it done on the first pitch. So, and then some days you're probably not going to give up a lot of outs by bunting because of the way the ballpark was playing. But in that situation, to get 2 guys in scoring position, being down 1, was what it called for. And then we opened up a couple more runs to have a good inning. But I think, like I said, the resiliency of it's tough to lean on your offense and feel like you got to come back all the time, and they just kept answering the bell, and that's a good characteristic of a really good team, is that when your pitching's not up to par, you have other areas to help pick the team up, and so that was a nice sign, and it was fun to watch our guys play offense for sure.
You mentioned resilience. How reassuring as a coach is it that lineup can get hot at any point in the game, starting with any player in the starting lineup?
For sure. We talked a lot about, being a pack of wolves, and really how do wolves go on the hunt for big game hunting, and they do it by just wearing down their prey. And I think that's what we saw this weekend, was the fact that they can wear down some opponents, not just by the home runs, but by being tough outs, being tough 2-strike, outs. Even if they're not, getting hits, them in 2-strike situations are really tough to get them out and to finish them off. So, and I think it just gives length to the lineup, and it's fun when you can just keep passing the baton and you don't feel like, well, if this guy doesn't get the hit, we got to wait another X amount of players before we feel comfortable again. We feel great 1 through 9, and with how they're playing offense.
Got some questions about the pitching to sort out, but there were moments this weekend where the Eagles looked really good.
Yep.
Clear had some good outings. You got some big moments from Hodges. A couple of different guys. You feel like the talent is there.
The pieces are there. Yeah, I definitely think the pieces are there. Again, I think we got about 10 innings out of our starting pitchers, so that gives opportunities in the bullpen, and so we have to start better, and we'll do that. Zach Morris, I thought threw the ball good today. I thought he threw the ball good today, and again, I think his best, baseball and pitching is ahead of him, and and same thing with Plecker, same thing with Tolley. Tolley hadn't been in that environment, to be honest with you, and talking a little bit with him, really never played in front of that many people, and so now everyone's kind of got their feet wet and understands what it's like, and I'm just proud overall of how even the guys that didn't play, what our dugout was like. That's something that as a head coach you look at all the peripheral things a lot of times, not just the on-field things, and that was for me something that was really special on the first weekend, and not really having to coach that. If there was a little lull in here or we felt like we were a little bit flat, you had some returning guys, voicing it, and not just the coaching staff, which for me shows a lot of what we desired.
Is there anything different you may have learned about your team after this first weekend that you didn't know before?
Yes and no. Some of those things we learned. I thought, like you said, Coyer was, for me, a star on the weekend, being able to come back Sunday after pitching on Friday and giving us quality innings. And, I think on Tuesday, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for the guys that didn't get in today. And so with Ben Hampton starting and then having a lot of guys that we trust down there and give them opportunities on Tuesday against a really good Texas State team. So I don't think we really were shocked by anything. I think, like with any season, you're figuring yourself out, and that's why you play non-conference the first 3 weekends, is by the time the fourth weekend and conference rolls around, you want to know which buttons to push with different personnel and stuff like that. So I'm excited. Sammy Meyer's probably going to get a start on Tuesday, see him out there for the first time. So we're getting a lot of people out there for their first time and looking forward to what they do with their opportunity.
In that same vein, the opportunity that might come on Tuesday, how nice is it to have a guy who's made 41 good starts
Yeah.
on the mound for you?
Well, I'll sleep a lot better on Monday night knowing that he's pitching on Tuesday. So I think that is a unique thing to have someone with that much experience. You can't teach experience, and so to have someone like Ben ready to go on Tuesday, I think hopefully we get a nice quality start where we don't have to put too much pressure on our bullpen again. That would be priority number one for me, is get a good quality start out of our starting pitcher.
How impressive has Chase Brunson been, being a true freshman coming in?
He's a good player. He's a good player, and we knew that coming in, but you never know again. Under the bright lights, starting as a freshman, center field, and even in the last inning here, gets behind in two-strike count and does a really good job of not giving in, spitting on breaking balls down, and gave us a great quality at bat in his last at bat. So, I think that's fun to watch, knowing that you have a young guy like that from the get-go had himself a really good opening weekend, and it's pretty business as usual for him. So I'm glad he's on our team.